مشعل رفع ربي مقامه لا عدمنا وجهه طيبه وزول عزنا الله في حكم شيخ الزعامه.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. This is a live program of today's special episode covering the visit of His Highness Namir Sheikh Mishal Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, to the Arab Republic of Egypt this afternoon. Today's visit of His Highness Namir to Cairo, which is his first to the Republic since he assumed the reins of power last December, comes to strengthen the brotherly ties and adds a new meaning of the establishment relations between the two countries which have shined over the years. Such visit will also contribute to strengthening and consolidating the distinguished relations between the Kuwaiti and the Egyptian leadership and push bilateral cooperation towards borders horizons aiming to achieve the common future goals and aspirations between the two countries. Today's visit also witnessed unofficial discussions between the leadership of the two countries on ways to enhance joint cooperation for the benefit and the prosperity of both nations and peoples, in addition to exchanging opinions of most prominent issues, developments on the regional and the international arenas, and topics of common interest. Additionally, His Highness the Emir visits embodies the spirit of admiration, cohesion, and independence that demonstrate the leadership of the two countries and the two brotherly peoples together. Here's more on this report.
The historical relationship between Kuwait and Egypt is deep-rooted and multifaceted, marked by periods of cooperation and cultural exchange. In the 19th and 20th centuries, British influence increased in both Kuwait and Egypt. The British protectorate over Kuwait in 1899 and the British occupation of Egypt in 1882 had significant implications for the political and economic landscapes of both regions. Both Kuwait and Egypt pursued independence from colonial powers, and the state of Kuwait gained its independence from Britain in 1961, while Egypt's struggle against British occupation culminated in independence in 1952. During the Gulf War in 1990 and 1991, Egypt was one of the Arab countries that supported the coalition against Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. However, this stance strengthened ties between Egypt and Kuwait. Both Kuwait and Egypt have pursued economic cooperation over the years. Kuwait has invested in various sectors in Egypt, including infrastructure, energy, and tourism. Additionally, Kuwait has provided financial aid and assistance to Egypt during periods of economic challenges. Cultural ties between Kuwait and Egypt are evident through shared traditions, language, and historical heritage. Egyptian cultural exports, such as music, films, and literature, are popular in Kuwait, contributing to a sense of shared identity. Overall, the relationship between Kuwait and Egypt share a history of mutual respect, cooperation, and cultural affinity.
To enrich us more in the importance of such visit, of which His Highness Namir Sheikh Mishal Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, to the Arab Republic of Egypt, the first since he assumed the reins of power, where we are all and accompanied here in the studio with our distinguished guest, academic and political analyst, Dr. Ayed Al-Manna. Always and ever a pleasure to be with you, honestly.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
When we met in the parking lot and you told me that you are with us here, I was overjoyed and over happy.
And I insist that I'll be with you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, you heard me talking about His Highness the Emir, may Allah protect and bless him, his visit to Egypt. And he is following his predecessors, his brothers. No. Sheikh Sabah, Sheikh Nawaf, Sheikh Jaber Ahmed, God rest their souls, to continue the leadership of the GCC leaders, specifically the state of Kuwait, with Egypt. Now, how do you view the whole visit? What is your own perspective of the whole thing?
Thank you very much, Wasmi,
Pleasure.
for having me in this actually very important occasion. His Highness the Emir was acting also on behalf of the late Emir, Sheikh Nawaf Ahmed Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, and he visited so many countries within the Gulf and others, even United Kingdom also. He visited Egypt also for the climate invitation and the Greenpeace that time, I think 2022 maybe. Also in October 2023, after the starting of the war in Gaza, he visited Egypt on behalf of the late Emir, and he actually delivered the speech. I always actually quote him that there will be no solution for this conflict unless establishment of a state of Palestine, or the dual state solution of two states. And that's on the border of 4th of June 1967. Not only 1967, because the Israelis may say, well, this part of Palestine and that's all. No, it is on the border of 1967, as it has been mentioned in the United Nations resolutions 242 for 1967, 338 for 1973, and also the Arab Initiative, which has been declared in Beirut Summit for the Arab League in March 2002. And these all actually giving solution for this conflict and give the Palestinian and the Israeli the time to live together as neighboring countries, respecting each other. Unfortunately, you know that the Israeli extremists, they do not agree with this kind of initiatives, and they insist on having all Palestine. And we have now the extreme in the leadership of the Israeli, who insist on actually occupying the whole Gaza and probably displacing the Palestinians from their own home, forcing them to flee to other countries. For instance, for the people in Gaza might flee to Egypt, or forced to flee to Egypt, and for the West Bank might be forced to flee to Jordan. But actually still the efforts has been expressed, has been exercised by the influential Arab countries such as the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states, including our country Kuwait, Egypt, to some extent Jordan, all actually trying to influence the American to also influence the Israeli to have a solution, a peaceful solution. How it comes, it is too early to know, but I think His Highness Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al-Jabr Al-Sabah and his visit to Egypt, as his prior visits to the Gulf states, all discussed the Palestinian issue, the war now in Gaza, and as you know, Kuwait, actually one of the few countries who insist on the right of the Palestinian people to have their own independent state.
That's just fine.
Yeah.
I just want to
normalization. No.
Far from happening.
Yeah. No normalization, no recognition by Kuwait for the state of Israel, unless Palestinian Palestinian people got their own state.
From your own point of view, do you think that Sheikh Mishal Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah, God bless him and protect him, his visit to Cairo represents the rest of the GCC countries? Do you think that he is the representative of the view of the all 6 leaders in the GCC area? Do you think that they're all on the same page and he is, you know, the delegation that he is going to deliver a message not only to Cairo, to the rest of the world, that we are standing one man and one man only in the face of the aggression of the Zionists in Gaza?
First of all, Wasmi, this visit is a state visit. As you know that our leaders, when they assumed power, after they swear on the Constitution, being leaders, they visit the brotherly country, thanking them for the solidarity on the death of the late Amir, and congratulations for the new Amir. His Highness the Amir visited Saudi Arabia, visited other Gulf states, and visited Jordan. Now he visiting the Republic, Egypt, the Arab Republic of Egypt, and definitely he will be discussing all the items, including economic, politics, education, military, security. All these fields we have good cooperation with Egypt. Also, as you mentioned, he definitely representing the GCC. We all actually having the common stance on the all issues in the world. For instance, Palestine issue, the Sudan problem, the Libya conflict, Yemen also troubles and their clashes with the international community on the Red Sea. Also in our region, we have this kind of conflict on the Durra field with Iran, other conflict, probably minor moment at this time with Iraq. Definitely, His Highness the Amir will discuss with President Abdel Fattah Sisi all these, and especially the conflict in Gaza. Definitely also that His Highness and President Abdel Fattah Sisi having common views about this conflict and how to solve it. Egypt actually trying all it is best to help the Palestinian to have a solution, to cease fire, to the withdrawal of the Israeli forces, and also to give the Palestinian supplied for food, medicine. Egypt playing a very good role and insisting not to open the door for the Palestinian to be forced by the Israeli to cross the border to Egypt. And this is for the interest of the Palestinian, actually. And I'm sure this idea agreed by His Highness the Amir, and definitely we remember that the solidarity of Kuwait with Egypt, it is not only this moment. We might go back to the history. Kuwaiti relations with Egypt very old. Before the independence, it mostly trade relations and also cultural. Rashid Rida, who was one of the prominent figures in the 19th century, the beginning of 20, visited Kuwait in 1913. visited
You weren't
Kuwait.
born back then.
He visited Kuwait and he met so many prominent Kuwaitis. He wrote about Kuwait in his magazine Al-Manar. Also, actually, during the late 40, Sheikh Abdullah Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, who was actually the director of education at that time, visited Egypt, also opened the house of Kuwait for the student there. In 1958, Sheikh Abdullah Al-Jabr with the President Jamal Abdel Nasser officially opened the house of Kuwait to be as a consulate at that time, and afterward it became the embassy of Kuwait. And this relation grew up when Kuwait obtained its independence from Britain 19th of June 1961. Yeah, you remember? No, you didn't remember. You are young.
61? No, I wasn't born back then.
No. Actually, Kuwait has been also threatened by General Abdel Karim Qasim, who was the Prime Minister of Iraq at that time, and he threatened to storm Kuwait, and he considered its independence as null and
void.
Yeah.
Null and void.
Yes, and void. Egypt stood beside Kuwait, and I remember that President Jamal Abdel Nasser described Abdel Karim Qasim as insane.
Insane.
Yes, crazy.
بالمصري انت مجنون.
And also Egypt sent troops within the Arab League, Jordan, Sudan, Egypt. Egypt also officially recognized Kuwait as an independent state in 1961 and exchanged diplomatic relation in 1962. And that's the relation continued to grow with. You know that's Kuwait. Kuwaiti also citizen like to go to Egypt.
They love tourists. They have houses over there.
Yes,
they have wives.
Houses,
wives. They merit each other.
It's a very good relation, socially, politically, economically.
They have a saying in Egypt: when you drink the water from the Nile, you have to come back for
the Nile. And that's actually, and afterward, actually, Kuwait. Okay. You remember,
Dr. Aid, honestly, I'm having a joyful time with you, honestly. But we have to break away. We have another report. Ladies and gentlemen, you are witnessing really a live national treasure. This is Dr. Aid al-Manna at his best. But we have to interrupt him because we have a lot of things to go on there. Go. Please take a breather.
It's okay.
Collect your thoughts.
No problem.
We'll come back to you. People, the report which details the visit of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, to the capital Cairo this afternoon. Watch it and stay with us.
شيخنا مشعل رفع ربي مقامه لا عدمنا وجهه طيبه وزول عزنا
His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held today an official session of talks at Al-Ittihadiyya Palace. During the talks, both sides touched on the deep-rooted ties between the two countries and ways of boosting cooperation to serve the aspirations of the two nations. The two sides agreed on supporting the process of joint Arab action that brings together the Arab countries and ways to develop relations in all fields. Latest regional and global developments were also touched on during that talks. Moreover, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi awarded His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed al-Jabr al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, with the Nile Medal in order to deepen and embody the strong relations that unite the two brotherly countries. In appreciation of the distinguished position and high status, and to document the ties of a friendship and ties of affection for His Highness the Emir, may Allah protect and bless him. The Nile Medal is considered the most prestigious and greatest Egyptian medal and is given to kings, princes, and presidents.
To elaborate further on the high delegation visit, join us all the way from Cairo, Foreign Affairs Editor at Al Ahram newspaper, Hind Al-Sayed. Mrs. Al-Sayed, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to KTV2. Mrs. Hind, can you hear me?
Yes.
Pleasure having you. Okay, let's get on with it. What are the echoes of the visit of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed al-Jabr al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, in light of the recent challenges and circumstances that the world and the Arab region is facing recently?
In fact, we have to mention first that the bilateral relations between Egypt and Kuwait is a model to be followed on both regional and international stage. It doesn't confine to common interests in political and economic fields, but it goes in depth on the public level, as both peoples of Kuwait and Egypt have stood beside each other in bitter and in happiness. We in Egypt won't forget that in our confrontation with Israel, Kuwait was sending us military planes full with soldiers from the Kuwaiti army to stand beside their brothers of the Egyptian army. And we still remember the 33 soldiers of the Kuwait army martyred on the 6th of October war. That's why when Kuwait was invaded by Iraq in August 1990, the Egyptian army hurried to pay back the favor to the Kuwaiti people, and some of its soldiers martyred as well. Now, both Egypt and Kuwait work to prevail peace and solving international issues through legitimate international resolutions issued by the Security Council and the United Nations. Both countries exert every effort in supporting Palestinian issue and Palestinian people, and both countries have opened its doors for long decades to receive hundreds of the people of Palestine. The visit of His Highness the Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed al-Jabr al-Sabah, to Cairo now comes in the frame of coordination, consultation, and cooperation that lasted between both countries for decades. And no doubt that this visit comes in a highly important moment in the whole Arabic region that is witnessing, either by what's happening in Gaza, of genocide crimes committed by the Israeli army, or else the dangers facing the Arab region in Libya, Yemen, and Lebanon. We are following the military clashes between both Iran and Israel, and no doubt that these dangers require coordination, consultation, and cooperation between leadership of Kuwait and Egypt, especially that they always agree on the necessity of the work for prevailing peace and stability in the region.
Mrs. Al-Sayed, final question, and now I want your evaluation of the visit of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed al-Jabr al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, to the Arab Republic of Egypt. How do you evaluate the whole thing?
No doubt that the bilateral talks will focus on the tragic situation in Gaza and efforts to reach a deal of ceasefire and the return of Palestinian people to their regions that they were displaced from, and allowing more aid into Gaza in quantities that answer the need of the Palestinian people. Egypt and Kuwait have stressed on several occasions on the necessity of ceasefire and starting a peaceful process that leads to a two-state solution, which now gains wide international support. And no doubt that the Egyptian-Kuwaiti summit will gain a wide interest from different international mass media, looking at the importance of the two countries and the special role that is played by both of them in the Middle East issues. We have to highlight as well the importance of the talks between the two countries in the light of the recommendations declared by the Kuwaiti parliament, which states on prosecuting war criminals in Israel, calling up all Arab and Muslim countries to break blockade on Gaza, rebuilding Gaza through special fund, receiving wounded people to get medical care, rejecting normalization with Israel. We have to mention that these recommendations will have important space in the talks between the two leaders of the two countries.
Hind Al-Sayed Hani, Foreign Affairs Editor, Al-Ahram newspaper, thank you so much for the input.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Folks, we have a report, Dr. Aida Al-Manna, ready for the next round of questions. Stick around.
The Kuwaiti-Egyptian relations, which have been rooted for decades, are considered a model to be emulated. The state of Kuwait has always affirmed its support and standing by everything that would achieve Egypt's security and stability, politically, economically, and militarily, and the Egyptian leadership reciprocated the same in many of the crises that Kuwait went through. The most prominent of these situations is the Egyptian support for Kuwaiti rights during the Iraqi invasion in 1990, in a scene that had previously been repeated when it stood Kuwait-sided with Egypt in the face of the June 1967 aggression and the October 1973 war. Since the establishment of official diplomatic relations between the two countries after the independence of the state of Kuwait in 1961, relations between the two sides began to grow steadily as soon as ambassadors were exchanged and political coordination took place at the highest levels. Cairo received the late Emir Sheikh Abdullah Salim al-Sabah 3 times in a row during the year 1964 at the two Arab Summit conferences held in Cairo, Alexandria, and third in the Non-Aligned Countries Conference. Also, the late Emir Sheikh Sabah Salim al-Sabah visited Cairo several times during Jamal Abdel Nasser's presidency of Egypt, and the late Emir was the last to bid farewell to the President Abdel Nasser after the Cairo summit on September 28th of 1970 at the airport, being the last leader to meet the Egyptian president before his death. Sheikh Sabah al-Salim also made several visits to Egypt during the term of the late President Anwar al-Sadat to discuss bilateral relations between the two countries, in addition to a visit in 1976 where he participated in the Six-Party Arab Summit Conference, which he devoted to addressing the Lebanese crisis that erupted during that period. During that difficult period, Sheikh Sabah al-Salim recorded honorable positions for the state of Kuwait in the wars of 1967 and the 1973 at the political and military levels. After former President Hosni Mubarak assumed power in Egypt in 1981, he visited Kuwait 4 times before the Iraqi invasion in 1990 and the first was in 1981, noting that His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, made official visits to Egypt as well during his term as Crown Prince. These visits usually come in the context of strengthening bilateral relations between Kuwait and Egypt and exchanging views on regional and international issues of common interest.
شيخنا مشعل رفع ربي مقامه لا عدم وجهه طيبه وزول عزنا الله في حكم شيخ الزعامه.
Folks, we are back with us here right on KTV2 live with Dr. Ayed Al-Manna. Dr. I think that we gave you a good breather. You collected your thoughts and you're ready for the second round.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very kind.
Pleasure. Our national treasure, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Ayed, Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him. He has a vision just like his president, just like his brothers before.
Right.
And he is going to steer the state of Kuwait to a right direction in the horizon of success and prosperity. Where do you think that he should lead first?
Definitely His Highness the Emir having a dream for Kuwait future, and definitely also he will be leading the country for prosperity and development, and that's definitely required more efforts of the Kuwaiti intellectual and citizen to help His Highness the Emir to grow their countries and to make it more advanced, and this is our dream, all of us. You know that we have a plan 2035.
The vision.
Yeah, it is a vision. And we have to implement this. Probably there is some obstacles because of the political instability, parliament and government, resignation and dissolution of the parliament. But we have to restart our efforts. We have to build our country. We have to have sources not depending on oil. We have to have other sources because depending on oil or the revenues of oil, we might come to that point. There is no oil to...
Nothing lasts forever.
Absolutely. And therefore we have to find this kind of diversification of income, and this is very important for us. Also, I'm sure that His Highness always think of the Kuwaiti security. You know, we are living in a region, it is not always stable. It is very hot. We have conflicts now, either hidden or clear conflicts. As you know, that's the conflict between Iran and Israel might extend to other countries if the war go on. Also, the problem of Palestine might require other actions. If Egypt, for instance, engage in war or conflict with Israel, we will not stand and watch. We have to help Egypt, and we have history of that. I just want to remind our viewers that Kuwait, even before the independence, stood beside Egypt in 1960 and 1956 during the invasion of Britain and France and Israel. Also,
they call it the aggression of the three countries against Egypt, العدوان الثلاثي.
Yes, it has another terminology. Also, Kuwait stood by Egypt in 1967 and actually participated on the war, sending a brigade called Al-Yarmouk to Egypt. During the war afterward, in the 60s, number of Kuwaiti
Lost their lives
officers
over there.
and soldiers lost their life during that war. In 19th also 73 Kuwaiti forces also participated
What
on
is
the war.
October the 6th?
6th of October
Yes.
1973 on the two fronts, in Egypt and in Syria, Al-Yarmouk in Egypt and Al-Jahra in Syria, and also Kuwait is actually blood mixed with other Egyptian and Syrian blood. And that's actually, we always participating in the Arab affairs. Also, we don't forget at all that Egypt stood beside us in 1961, as we remember, mentioned earlier, in 1990, 2nd of August, the Black Day
of the Iraqi
yes,
forces.
the Black Day of our life. Egypt stood beside Kuwait politically and militarily, and also received the Kuwaiti who were in Egypt and look after them. Also participated on the liberation of Kuwait by a division from its army, and therefore we always remember what happened. Also, there is great amount of relations, even in the education. Do you know that in 1938, the first scholarship has been sent to Egypt for about 7 students, and afterward 4 students.
You mean from
for
Kuwait to
education.
Egypt?
Yes, from Kuwait to Egypt. At that time, you know that at time, the education in Kuwait not that as it is now. And therefore, a relation between us is very strong. Investment, the Kuwait investment, actually around $20 billion in Egypt. Trade also continue, and then also during the after the 30th of June 2013, when
2013. Okay.
2013.
Thank God it wasn't 1913.
Yes. No, 2013.
Way in history.
You remember
Ancient history.
the old one, yes.
Okay.
2013.
So
when
that's why you are a
President-
national treasure.
No.
You are teaching us and giving us
Thank
a
you,
lecture
thank you.
about the
It's very
historical
kind of
relationship between Kuwait and Egypt.
Thank you very much.
That's
It's
why we
very
love
kind of
having you here.
Thank you very much. Actually, when President Al-Sisi actually correct the path of Egypt at that time.
You know the worst thing that I hate to do is to interrupt you, but I have phone calls
it's okay.
waiting in line.
Quite
People-
just
No,
also
honestly,
help.
it's a pleasure having
Yes,
you here.
thank you.
But unfortunately, I have to pick up the phone because it's all the way back. We have the live coverage of today's special episode covering the visit of His Highness the Emir to the capital, Cairo. Now join us live on the phone call from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Professor of Finance and Accounting at Al-Yamama University, Dr. Awad. Dr. Awad, pleasure having you on the air.
Yeah, hi. And thank you for having me at this special moment.
Dr. Awad, Dr. Ayad, he is giving you his greeting and he said, it's a pleasure having you on the air. Unfortunately, he cannot speak to you because he does not have the live microphone. I do. Anyway, Dr. Awad, the state of Kuwait and the Arab Republic of Egypt had significant investments and achievements in the fields of growth and innovation. How such a partnership formed an economic force over the years for the two countries together.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I just would like to mention that Egypt and Kuwait shares a long history of political cooperation and support. They collaborate on the regional security issues and maintained close diplomatic relationship. We can explore some key aspects of their relationship which contribute to economic ties. In the investment side, Kuwait, with its wealth from oil reserve, has been a significant investor in Egypt. The Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development has financed numerous Egyptian projects across various sectors. This capital has flowed into various sectors like infrastructure, real estate, and industry. Investment from Kuwait also have created jobs in Egypt, boosting its economy and providing opportunities for its citizens. Joint venture and collaborations have facilitated knowledge transfer between Kuwait investor and Egyptian professional, improving technical expertise in Egypt. Collaboration allow also for knowledge sharing and capacity building in different economic sectors. The Kuwait investment have helped Egypt diversify its economy as well, away from its reliance on tourism and agriculture. We saw many companies, Kuwaiti companies, launching their banks, investment, all Kuwaitis local companies has invested in Egypt heavily. Entity like Egypt Kuwait Holding, I think, established by a consortium of businessmen from both countries, serve as a model for collaboration and investment projects, and those are making good investment, and they participate in various sectors in Egypt, from the service sector, the real estate sector, and the construction sector. On the trade side, there is a bilateral trade between the two countries, though not as substantial as some might expect. But this exchange of goods and services contribute to economic activities in both nations. Over the 4 decades, joint investment have surpassed around $16 billion, averaging $400 million annually. This signifies a steady flow of trade and economic activities. Also, trade between the two countries has reached around $3 billion annually. This healthy trade volume indicates a strong economic partnership. $3 billion between Kuwait and Egypt is not a small amount. It's a big trading relationship. Also, Kuwait has provided significant financial assistance to Egypt, including deposit in the central bank, petroleum aid, and grants. This support has helped stabilize the Egyptian economy and fostered closer ties. And this, we're benefiting from this later on when we talk about the political tension, the Iraqi invasion. We saw Egypt always stand with Kuwait. Also, Kuwait gained access to Egypt's large consumer market. I mean, Egypt is the largest consumer market in the area, in the Middle East. It's around 120 million people there, and it's a good market for Kuwaiti investors, offering opportunity for Kuwait businesses to export goods and services. And I believe that we have 2 or 3 banks, local Kuwaiti banks, establishing their activities in Egypt. In the political stabilities as well, both countries view a strong economic partnership as mutual benefit and contribution to regional stabilities. I think this close tie with economic will not happen unless we have a political stability between the two countries. But overall, the partnership between Kuwait and Egypt and investment have been successful model for regional economic cooperation. by continuing to invest in strategic sectors and fostering knowledge exchange, both countries, I believe, can solidify their economic ties and achieve sharing prosperity.
Dr. Al-Safi, we appreciate the information you gave us. No wonder that you are the friend of Dr. Aid Al-Manna, because you contain a full of knowledge. Thank you so much. Round, we have a lot more on this matter. The Egyptian ambassador to the state of Kuwait, His Excellency Osama Shaltut, describes Kuwait-Egyptian relations as historical and deeply rooted, embodying the values of solidarity and communication between the two nations, which have their roots deeply embodied in history. His Excellency also emphasized the importance of the state visit of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mishal Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, to the Arab Republic of Egypt, where during this visit His Highness the Emir discussed ways to enhance bilateral relations, regional issues, developments, and support for the joint Arab action with His Excellency Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Well, this is the first state visit of His Excellency the Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Mishal Sabah, to Egypt. This visit, without doubt, will increase the bilateral relation between the two countries, and it will promote also all and enhance all the cooperation in all fields between the two countries. This visit is a very important visit. It comes in a very delicate timing because, as we see, there's a lot of challenging crisis around the Arab world, and we need to consolidate and unify our position. So this visit will, without doubt, will consolidate both positions of both countries towards all the challenges that are facing the Arab world.
Folks, this is the final round with our precious guest in the studio, Dr. Aid Al-Manna. It's a pleasure always to have you here. No, honestly. People, if you are wondering, you can YouTube Dr. Aid Al-Manna. He has a full of fighting, literally, on the air with different channels. But we'll leave this for a moment. Let's go back to the visitation of His Highness the Emir. You have heard your buddy, Dr. Al-Safi.
Yes.
He's a Kuwaiti citizen.
Yes.
He's your buddy, he's your friend.
Yeah,
Do you concur with everything?
In Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Do you concur with everything that he said regarding the visit of His Highness the Emir to Egypt and the historical relations? And please don't take us all the way back to the 1913.
No.
Actually, something fresh.
Dr. Awad Al-Safi is a specialist in the economy.
Okay.
And he really benefited us during his participation in this program. He is actually one of the Kuwaitis working in the universities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I'm sure they will be benefited from his knowledge. We hope that also others will benefit all our nations in the regions and in the Arab countries.
Good. Since we are in the matter of economics and also trading, etc., something like that, what about the vision? Let's focus on this. What about the vision of the state of Kuwait 2035? His Highness the Emir, he's adamant, he is eager to implement and to enforce everything for making this be happening and to be on the earth of our land?
As I told you, that's His Highness the Emir having a dream to have Kuwait with numerous fields of sources, not only depending on the oil revenues, because this cannot be relied on forever. I'm sure that after the new era, there will be more development and prosperity for the Kuwaiti future. At the same time, we have to have a kind of political stability to give the economy the opportunity to also make more advancement in this respect.
So the whole thing
we need as
the whole thing should be materialized when we have a stability.
That's right.
How this vision affects the Republic of Egypt? Do you think that there is a common interest between both these two countries?
You know that Egypt actually has plenty of educated people in different fields. We can benefit from Egypt, and also I think we can benefit from other countries. But because we are talking about Kuwaiti bilateral relation with Egypt, I think Egypt is a friendly and brotherly country. We can depend on their manpower for the future development, constructions, and all the fields. They have so many actually manpower, and we can also benefit them by bringing these people either in our country or in other Gulf states. Also, Egypt has good field of universities. Some of the universities, the old one actually, they have a good
University of Cairo,
reputation. Cairo
and Alexandria,
Alexandria, يعني other also, but these actually the main universities. They have also in medicine specialists, in engineering, we can benefit from them, and they always honestly ready to help, either by sending their specialists or taking students to their country. Also, Kuwait investment in Egypt now is growing up. Kuwait is the third partner on investment in Egypt after Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. The Kuwaiti Fund for Arab Development also playing a good role in Egypt and other countries, but we are talking about Egypt. He is playing a good role in the development and the instructions for the Egyptian, and that our relation is warm and deepen. I'm sure His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al Jaber, by his visit, will deepen the relation between the two countries, and the mutual interest between the countries will be treated by His Highness with his all caring and want to advance this kind of relation.
Dr. Aid, honestly, we have reached the final 2 minutes of the whole thing. It's a shame. Love to have you forever, but honestly, let's sum up the whole thing. The relationship between the state of Kuwait and Egypt. Do you think that some kind of an agreement and a development is going to take shape in the future, the near future?
Yes,
we know that we are. We have the best relationship between these two countries. Somehow you want to take it to a different level.
Yes,
do you see this?
I think we have already about 140 agreements between the two countries, and we will have more of agreements between the two countries. We all need each other, and we all actually shouldering each other on the all the times. Actually, the relation between the two countries, it's very warm and it's brotherly, but not only friendly, and that means we have consolidating each other and helping each other in the need. And we proved that during the decades since the independence, at least 1961. Our relation with Egypt is very strong and permanent, inshallah.
Inshallah. Dr. Adil Maya, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Looking forward to having you here in our
Habibi,
studio. Pleasure.
thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad to be with you, Wasmi.
The honor is all mine and the pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, we conclude today's special live coverage as we have navigated together the impactful visit of a leader who is committed to unify and progress and stability among the Arab and the international arenas. Our insightful guest, academic and political analyst, Mr. Aid Al-Manna, illuminated His Highness the Emir's multifaceted contributions, showcasing his pivotal role in Kuwait's governance, regional relations, and global stature. From his principled leadership to his dedication to Kuwait's cultural heritage and diplomacy. We bid farewell to our guest, whose expertise has added depth to our understanding of His Highness the Emir's enduring impact and unwavering commitment to our dear homeland, wishing that this program serves as a statement to His Highness the remarkable legacy, inspiring unity, fostering progress, and nurturing the values of holds and dearly, and serves and adds to the history between the state of Kuwait and Cairo. Thank you so much once again, and please join us once again for more of this in the coming future. I'm looking forward to see you 7 o'clock p.m. every day. Enjoy the rest of the night, and bye-bye.
شيخنا مشعل رفع ربي مقامه لا عدمنا وجهه طيبه وزوله عزنا الله في حكم شيخ الزعامه والمكارم والصعايب والبطوله لا عدمنا وجهه